One of the most important things we can do as board gamers is invite new people, inexperienced gamers, into the hobby to play a game with us. This can also be one of the trickiest things. But today, I'd like to explain what makes a good introductory game or gateway game and my personal favorite. I'm Man Seeking Meeple, and let's take a gander. All right, so you've got a couple over or a friend over, and you're thinking about what game to pull off the shelf to really wow them. Well, let me have you consider 3 different things that I think are really fundamental into having a great gateway game. The first is it needs to be appealing, exciting, draw you in for whatever reason. Maybe it's the art, the theme, the production, whatever it is. It has to excite the player. They have to have a desire to play in the first place. Otherwise, it's just going to be a bust no matter what. Now, if it's appealing, the next is it has to be approachable. It has to be simple enough to explain quickly so that you can get to the action and the fun quickly. If it's too long and drawn out of an explanation, you're going to lose the buy-in. People are going to be out before they've even started. And that is just leading to an unwelcome time. Now, the last thing that it has to be is, it can be simple, but it needs to have depth. The reason why I say that is there are a lot of very simple games that really don't have much depth, but can be fun. This can be great, but I wouldn't call it a gateway game, because it's a game that you play, you have fun, and you're done with. A gateway game is an introduction to make them want more, to come back, to try again, because they realize as they play that there's so much that they discover as it goes on, and they want to try new things. They want to do it again. They want to do better. That is the real hook and sinker. That is where the real joy comes, and where a gateway game goes from being a good game to an excellent gateway game. So let me explain my very favorite gateway game by introducing you to Foundations of Rome. Now, Foundations of Rome is a great game for 3 big reasons. First of all, it's appealing. Just look at the pieces of Foundation of Rome. This has got to be the most overproduced, ridiculous game in my entire collection. It is a simple, short, 45-minute gateway level game, and yet it has such intricate, beautiful pieces with such an epic table presence. This game is over the top. And anyone that sees it has a desire to try it, to find out more. Plus, it's about building ancient Rome. And how many times have you thought about Rome in the last 24 hours? Now, that said, appealing to check. But the next part is it has to be simple, quick, easy to teach. And man alive, there are only 3 things that you can do on your turn in Foundations of Rome. 1, you can buy a deed for different amounts of money and own that spot on the board. Okay, buy a deed, easy. Second, you can then place buildings on the board where you own deeds. Great, you just take a building, place it down. As long as it's bigger, you can even replace previously built buildings, again, as long as you own all the lots of land. The third thing is you can collect your income, earn money. That allows you to buy more deeds, which allows you to build more buildings. That's the whole game. Buy deeds, build buildings, earn money. And as you go about this, well, now we get to my third point. The depth of the game comes out. See, at the beginning, it seems like such a simple affair. Anyone could start playing this game. Anyone can do it nearly instantly. But as the game goes on, you realize what to place where and when to place it is the game. There is so much depth because there's so much interactivity. Let me say that some of this interactivity comes from the fact that if your neighbor builds something like a population building, then you could build a civic building right beside it that scores depending on the number of population beside that building. It doesn't matter who owns the population. You get the points from your civic building. Everything everyone builds affects everyone else. That is the depth of the game. That is what's going to make people want to play again. They discover strategies as they play. They see the depth and they want to do it. Now, a good gateway game is fun for not only new people, but also experienced gamers. And I highly recommend that the next time you invite a couple over or a friend over for games, think about what game you pull off your shelf. Is it appealing? Is it approachable? Does it have that depth? And if so, you're guaranteed to have a good time, at least as long as they're good company. I'm Man Seeking Meeple, and have a great day.